The internet has an incredible power to focus our collective attention. Recently, the world turned its attention to Rafah, a Palestinian city thrust into the spotlight. All Eyes on Rafah wasn't just a hashtag, it was a digital rallying cry that brought the plight of its people to the forefront. But how did this happen? How did this relatively unknown city become the center of a viral trend? In a world often saturated with information, All Eyes on Rafah cut through the noise. This essay will unpack the driving forces behind this digital phenomenon. Join me as we delve into the heart of this digital movement and explore the power of the internet to shine a light on even the most overlooked corners of the world. Social media has fundamentally changed how we consume and share information. Platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook have become virtual town squares. All Eyes on Rafah demonstrated this power in its rawest form. The hashtag became a unifying banner for millions across the globe. People who had never heard of the city were suddenly sharing stories, images, and videos. They were engaging in discussions and demanding action from their leaders. This digital outpouring of support was unprecedented. All Eyes on Rafah proved that geographical distance is no longer a barrier to empathy or action. At its core, All Eyes on Rafah resonated because it tapped into a fundamental human emotion: empathy. The images and stories emerging from the city were heart-wrenching. They depicted the human cost of conflict, forcing the world to confront the devastating realities faced by ordinary people. The faces of children seeking refuge, the stories of families torn apart, and the pleas for help transcended language barriers and cultural differences. This shared sense of humanity is a powerful force. All Eyes on Rafah proved that even in our hyper-connected world, we are still capable of genuine empathy and compassion. It challenged us to look beyond the political rhetoric and see the human faces caught in the crossfire. All Eyes on Rafah wasn't just about raising awareness, it was a call to action. The hashtag became synonymous with demands for an immediate ceasefire, humanitarian aid, and international intervention. Social media transformed from a platform for observation to a tool for mobilization. People weren't just passively consuming information, they were actively sharing it, discussing it, and using it to pressure their elected officials. The digital sphere buzzed with petitions, fundraising campaigns, and calls for boycotts. The message was clear. The world was watching, and inaction was not an option. All Eyes on Rafah demonstrated the power of social media to translate awareness into action. A picture is worth 1,000 words, and in the digital age this adage has never been truer. All Eyes on Rafah gained traction because it was a deeply visual campaign. Images and videos coming out of the city provided a raw and unfiltered look at the realities on the ground. These visuals cut through the noise and clutter of the digital world. They were immediate, visceral, and impossible to ignore. The power of visual storytelling in the digital age cannot be overstated. All Eyes on Rafah harnessed this power, using visuals to create an emotional connection with audiences worldwide. The impact of All Eyes on Rafah extended far beyond the digital sphere. The heightened awareness generated by the trend had tangible, real-world consequences. Governments faced increased pressure to act, humanitarian organizations saw a surge in donations, and the crisis in Rafah became a topic of discussion worldwide. This ripple effect is a testament to the power of online movements to drive offline change. The trend demonstrated that awareness is not a passive act. It is the first step toward meaningful action. The All Eyes on Rafah movement spurred a global conversation about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, prompting renewed calls for peace and a just resolution. It proved that social media, when used effectively, can be a powerful tool for social good. The digital age has ushered in an era of unprecedented access to information. News travels at lightning speed, shared and reshared across social media platforms, often bypassing traditional gatekeepers. The All Eyes on Rafah trend highlighted both the promise and peril of information dissemination in the digital age. Citizen journalists and activists on the ground use social media to bypass traditional media outlets and share first-hand accounts. However, the digital age also presents challenges in terms of misinformation and the spread of propaganda. This highlights the need for critical thinking and media literacy in the digital age. As consumers of information, we must be vigilant in verifying sources, cross-checking facts, and being wary of echo chambers. In the digital age, influencers play an increasingly significant role in shaping public opinion. The All Eyes on Rafah trend demonstrated the impact influencers can have in galvanizing support and driving action. Celebrities, activists, and social media personalities used their platforms to shed light on the situation in Rafah. They shared information, personal reflections, and calls to action, reaching millions of followers worldwide. The involvement of these influential voices helped elevate the issue, bringing it to the attention of a wider audience. The role of influencers in raising awareness of social issues cannot be underestimated. They have the ability to cut through the noise, humanize complex issues, and inspire their followers to take action. While the All Eyes on Rafah trend demonstrated the power of social media for good, it also exposed the potential pitfalls of virality. The constant bombardment of images and videos risked desensitizing audiences to the suffering of others. The goal should be to foster genuine empathy and understanding, not to overwhelm or exploit the suffering of others for clicks and likes. Furthermore, the pursuit of virality should never come at the expense of accuracy or sensitivity. The focus should always be on amplifying the voices and stories of those affected, while respecting their dignity and privacy. We must strive to use these powerful tools responsibly, ensuring that our efforts contribute to meaningful change while minimizing potential harm. The All Eyes on Rafah trend is just one example of how social media is reshaping social movements in the 21st century. From the Arab Spring to Black Lives Matter, digital platforms have become powerful tools for organizing, mobilizing, and amplifying voices for change. These movements have demonstrated the ability of online activism to translate into offline action, challenging the status quo and demanding accountability. The digital age has lowered the barriers to entry for activism. Anyone with a smartphone and an internet connection can participate in social movements, sharing information, mobilizing support, and holding powerful institutions accountable. However, it's important to acknowledge that online activism is not a panacea for social change. True and lasting change requires sustained effort, offline organizing, and a willingness to engage in difficult conversations and systemic change. All Eyes on Rafah wasn't just a fleeting hashtag, it was a powerful testament to the ability of digital movements to capture global attention and inspire action. The trend showcased the speed at which information travels in the digital age, the power of visual storytelling, and the influence of social media in shaping public discourse. While the situation in Rafah remains complex, the legacy of the All Eyes on Rafah trend is undeniable. It serves as a reminder that we live in a world where geographical boundaries are no longer barriers to empathy or action. The digital sphere has the potential to connect us to issues that might otherwise seem distant, to amplify marginalized voices and to hold those in power accountable. As we navigate the complexities of the digital age, let us remember the lessons learned from All Eyes on Rafah and continue to harness the power of social media for good.